This is where we meet. 11 siblings figuring out what to do with this place. Welcome to the Alder Trust. I'm standing basically in the middle of the ranch, and there's a road that travels through, and you can see the people use the road. This is a farm that's situated in the West Desert area of Utah. It has a historic nature to it, and as you can see, I've got a lot of junk I'm looking at. A lot of stories to be told, and a lot of improvements to happen. We're going to see what we can do over the next course of these years to turn this into something different. You can see the trees are basically dying. That's because they haven't been watered. Water comes from those mountains, and it's gifted to us by the snows, and then it comes down through these valleys and comes through ditches and waters these areas. Now, back in the day, there was a ditch that ran right along the back, just beyond that trailer, beyond the old house. We call that the old house. And it comes through those clump of trees, and that used to feed these trees water. They used to get a good dose of water every year. That ditch hasn't been working for several years now, and we've been in a severe drought. These trees used to be lush and tall, and we're going to see what we can do about getting some more trees back, because my family has drilled a well, one of my mother's dreams. So there's water right there, and we're trying to, at the moment, prove up on a water right so that we can use the water. I put in about 400 feet of poly tube from a roll and put some little tiny water emitters, and if you can look right here, I put this in last October, and this little guy, it's a Chinese elm, but it's got some life in it still. So if we can get the water going today, we will have the opportunity to start some more vegetative growth. My hope is that we'll have the water on long enough that we can get these older trees some life-sustaining water back. Again, another Chinese elm that's going well. And get some, here's an emitter for one of the older trees. Not a science here. I just put this down, and I put some old trampoline tubing to hold it in place so the wind couldn't blow it. Kind of snaked it around. This is a tree that's self-volunteering right here. It's a cottonwood. So we're going to try and get it some water too. Feed it. Let's see if I can find another tree that I planted. Again, this was kind of an arbitrary placement of the tubing, because just trying to get it to areas where there already are volunteer trees growing. And these trees are coming from these old guys up here. It's the root system from these old guys. So if we can get these to go again, we can replace some of the dead ones that over here have died and fallen away. So really excited about this water line. Actually, one of the things about the area are these Russian olives. These Russian olives, they smell so good. They're so beautiful, but they're very, very prickly and dangerous. These are all very sharp thorns, and they grow more like a bush than a tree. So they can be trained by trimming and pruning to be a nice tree. However, you got to stay on top of it, because they'll go crazy. But again, it's a tree that survives very well, imported to this area many, many years ago. But where it has the right moisture in the soil and water, they do take off and create a vegetative forest, which you wouldn't otherwise normally have. These two trees have been here for a long time. They were planted as you walked out the door. You could see here there was some intention to them. And they are basically dying. And the danger is that those large branches fall down and hit you in the head, make you a widower. And this is a volunteer over here. It's dying as well. And there's the ditch in the back where the water used to come down and water the trees. When I moved out here in 3rd grade, it was a great place to be exploring as a kid. Lots of freedom, but I wanted to tell you a story about this tree. This tree used to have a limb that went off to the right, and I climbed it, and I was climbing it, and if you look closely, the bark on the tree kind of peels off. And I was about 3 feet out on the limb, and I peeled a piece of bark back, and there was a bat, a little tiny, I call it a rat bat. And I startled it, and it flew out, and I fell out of the tree and hit the ground right there. That was my first inkling that I didn't like bats at all. It's funny how those moments when you're younger traumatize you.